Is it really all over for President Joe Biden and this particular royal connection? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you as ever, and thank you so much for joining me today. You know, over here in the United Kingdom, we do love anything worldly connected, particularly politics. I don't know about you, but wherever you are in the world, everybody now has a political opinion. They're an activist, they want to talk about certain things, usual stuff. And all those big political shows really are almost prime time shows now, aren't they? You know, they're on at the time that you really sit down and, of course, notice what's going on in the world. With the world of social media, it's even more heightened, isn't it? And of course, right now, political leaders are big business for television networks. When, of course, Donald Trump was in power as the 45th president of the United States, he did so much for ratings on news channels in the United States, simply because people tuned in to wonder what catastrophe, what bombshell, what new, sort of speech he was going to say next. And I mean that kindly. You know, it does work both ways. You see, over here, President Biden recently had a visit to Windsor alongside meeting the Right Honourable British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak at number 10. We brought you that news, if you remember, and this was a very special visit just to reconnect. And then he went over to Windsor Castle to meet His Majesty the King and take tea with him and again, sort of connect and see how things are going on. Now, what's happened because of the pandemic and the recent upheaval, and sadly, of course, the loss of our wonderful monarch of 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II, normally an official state visit would have taken place. This is very much welcomed over here in the United Kingdom for any president to visit, mainly because it's great for business. You know, you fill our hotels, everywhere's buzzing, news channels are busy, and it gives us a chance to show off our wonderful military expertise, as do many countries around the world on these official state visits. But what's happening to President Joe Biden's visit? Well, we put a call into the royal palaces and, there's still no firm date set about exactly when President Joe would be making a return visit. Now, there's no getting away from the fact that Joe is obviously suffering from some kind of problem. Very forgetful, saying the wrong things and wandering off at all the wrong occasions. And I'm not laughing, I'm just basically stating facts. It's one of those things that are highlighted. But according to a well-placed source inside palace walls, there's another reason why they're holding back. And that is because they're not totally 100% sure that President Joe Biden will be, in fact, going forward and leading for another election, the election that pops up next year. Now, a lot of people are better placed than me, particularly over in the United States, as to who could possibly step into his shoes at the 11th hour. But this very well-placed source at both Inside Courtier and at Downing Street told me they expect to see something around about November time, deciding on who's going to be put forward as their full, potential forthcoming president. Either way, I think it's a bit of a shame that President Joe didn't get the full pomp and regalia that other visiting presidents have. And let's not forget, President Trump had such a good time with our late monarch out in Windsor and those marching bands. I'm sure you'll agree. It's a developing story. When I know more, I'll share it with you. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.